Okay, ladies and gentlemen, make sure I'm recording, and yes, I'm recording. We make sure that I don't have to do this again. Okay, so this is challenge 2, part 2 of Master the Mainframe. It took me a little while. I hadn't done this challenge before, and I'm not going to complete it now. I'm just going to kind of give you some guidance. I'm not going to do it for you because I don't want IBM shutting off my access because I'm giving you guys the answers. But I think I can give you some hints that they'd be comfortable with because some of this stuff needs explaining. And it took me a minute to try to figure out what's going on. That's the beautiful thing about Master the Mainframe. It forces you to think. And so while I'm sure many of you would have found a solution without the hints, I only want you to struggle so much. So my job is to facilitate you completing part 2. So here we go. Now for this one, I actually had to use the website instead of my PDF because my PDF, I got to reprint it. I have to reprint my PDF because it cut off some of the things. So I'm going to use the website, and I'm going to go to part 2, challenge 2. Now there's an abundance of background here, right? Abundance of background here. I recommend that you read the background meticulously and to get an idea of what's going on and go through the exercise they have. It's not part of the challenge, but it's just ISPF practice to help you get acclimated with what you have to do. Because I found this somewhat challenging. Maybe younger minds would have come to the. I'm gonna scroll down to where we're gonna start the challenge. I think I am anyway. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, younger minds may have come up on this quicker, but essentially what we have to do, we're going to play with ASCII, EBCDIC, and hex, right? And this is a really good exercise for you to understand kind of how a mainframe operates. I think this is a good exercise, and that's why I think Master the Mainframe is so superb to teach people about this technology, and it is really fascinating technology. A lot of history behind it. So the first thing we're going to do, I've already done this, is you're going to have to go into your system and create a data set. O2. I've already done that. Right. So I shouldn't have to walk you through this. O2, and then you copy some text into that data set. So I'm sorry. Let me be really clear. You are creating a member, not a data set. Data set's already been created. The data set is public.pds. No, it's pds.data. That is the data set, and you're creating the member hashtag 02. So that's what the command in right here does. And so you copy this text over and enter that text, and you will have a member, right? And this is the member that you have. So you have something here. Let me see if I don't know which way it comes in. It may come in like this, or I think this is the way it comes in. And then they ask you to enter the command source ASCII, right? So that converts whatever is in EBCDIC to ASCII. So we're going to do that. And these are two character sets, EBCDIC and ASCII, 2 character sets, excuse me. My throat gets real dry when I talk. So do that. Now you see some of the things changed. Some of them that you could read, you couldn't read. Some of them that you could read, you can't read now, and vice versa. And if you hit reset, it'll go back to where it was. So source, ASCII, reset. Now remember that because you're going to have to toggle between the two to help solve the challenges, right? So let's see what it wants us to do. We did that. We did through number 6. Okay, so we're going to put hex on. Now, all of this is important. Hexadecimal is shorthand for binary. And so for you IT newbies, some of you that have a background in IT, you understand the relationship between binary and hexadecimal, and that's something that we will make very abundantly clear to you in the course of your lead IT training. Training is probably too pedestrian a word, but your preparation for apprenticeships. Let's do that. Your preparation. So instead of training, I'm just going to put preparation, because there's a lot of other things that really aren't training. It's more to it. You'll see what I mean. So hexadecimal is shorthand for binary, right? Hexadecimal groups 4 bits into one hexadecimal character, and the math of that we will get into that later. You don't need that for master mainframe. Just understand that hexadecimal is shorthand for binary. And binary is the language that the processors speak. All processors, mainframe processors, Mac processors, all digital computers speak binary or machine language. Okay, so you can turn hex on and off, and for each line, for example. So I'll put here HX here. That converts that line to hexadecimal characters, and they are read vertically. So that character is 4-2 in hex. This character is 6F in hex, 6-2 in hex, etc. On and on. And you see here, these are all blank. So these are all 2020 is the character for blank in hexadecimal. And that's going to factor into what we need to do, and I'll explain that to you. So we're going to toggle back, put HX there, and it's going to toggle back for that line. Okay. So you're going to need this table here to help you solve the equation, and I will demystify this for you. So let's go back here. No, let's go back here. Yeah. Now, so what we have to do to finish challenge 2 is, challenge 2 part 2 is, we're gonna have to replace these 3 Y's with a year. Okay, year. And that's the answer to a question, right? I'll explain that to you. From the answer from question 2. And then question 4, we're gonna have to convert IBM from EBCDIC, which is what it is in ZOS natively, to the ASCII characters, right? ASCII. Understand, both EBCDIC and ASCII are binary representations of characters, right? EBCDIC existed before ASCII. IBM created EBCDIC because they didn't have a numerical character set to use. I'm not saying one didn't exist, but whatever was around, IBM needed its own. So IBM, being a trailblazer in computer technology, they invented whatever they needed, whether it's a networking protocol, whether it's a character set, whether it's a computer language, like PL1. I think PL1 was an IBM invention. COBOL was not an IBM invention, but they certainly had input into the development of COBOL and various other things. So IBM definitely was a trailblazer in computer technology, and they remain so today. So we're going to have to replace those. Okay, so what we have to do is, first of all, find out what question 3 is and what question 2 is. So some of these characters we can see. So there you see question 2 is something, and you can't read it. But we're going to put source ASCII. So remember, line 6 is where question 2 starts. So I'm going to put source ASCII here. Now, line 6 is question 2, and you can't read the EBCDIC characters, or really this is only going to render the ASCII characters. So the question is, who invented binary? And the answer is Gottfried Leibniz. That's to answer that question. And then if I do a reset, I see on line 11, pay attention to line 11, question 3 is, and you can do F12 to bring up your last command. So in what year did he invent binary? So you see those 4 Y's there on line 14. When you find the number from the internet, so you have to look. I'm not going to tell you what the answer is. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you what the answer is. You got to look that up yourself. But Gottfried Leibniz invented binary, and you have to put the years in here. And I'm not going to put the year. I'm just going to put 2017, which we know is incorrect, right? So that's one of the things. And you just overtype it. So that's the question 3. Yeah, that's the question 3 solution. And for question 4, a little more involved. So say, who invented Epsidic, right? And if you see 17, who invented Epsidic in the answer? And if I put reset there, you'll see IBM in line 19. So, and the answer is IBM. Let me see if I can bring all that on the screen at one time. No, it won't all fit. I'm going to show you how to do something here. I'm going to change my scroll amount from page. I'm going to change it back so I won't confuse you down the road. But I'm going to scroll, so that's going to either scroll up or down 5 lines at a time. So question 4, who invented, we know 17 says, who invented ASCII? And the answer is IBM. Now, what you have to do is, and this is where the ASCII table comes in. Here, thought I had it up. Yeah, the translation table. And so what you have to do is go in this table and find the hex numbers, right, on here. And you find I, right, capital I, and I'll give you the first one, and the other 2 you come up on yourself. It's C9, okay? So C9, see? C9, that's I. B is C2, B is C2, M is D4. Those are the hexadecimal values in Epsidic, the hexadecimal values in Epsidic for IBM. C9, C2, D4. That's hex for IBM. Okay, so your task is to can I move this? Yeah, I can move this. Sure I can. Yeah. Didn't think I could move that, but I can move it. Come on back down. There you go. Come on back over. Okay. I don't need 2 of you. Yeah, I need you. I don't need the other one. Okay. So we got to replace those characters, C9, C2, and D4 with the decimal representation, right? And you put those here, right? Decimal representation. And you go to your table and you just figure out what they are, right? You can look through the table. And that's it. That's it. And when you save that, that'll be challenge 2. Let me make sure that we're not missing anything. I'll complete it after I finish this video, but I haven't done this one yet, but I'm just showing you, giving you some tips on how to do it. That's it. You put F3. When you do what I said do, if you put the year in 14, well, wait a minute, I want to make sure that's correct. Um, do not want to mislead y'all. Let's resume this here. Yeah, so exactly. You have to type that over, right? And line 14 is where whatever the year is, and then you change these C9, C2, and D4 to whatever the whatever the decimal representation is from this table. Okay, here is the decimal representation, and there's the hex representation, and you will see the letters that you need to find. And that's it. We're moving right along. Next up, challenge 3. Hang in there, mainframers or future mainframers.